Hey guys, Cruxel, welcome to part 2 of my silver survival guide. This video is going to be all about bomb plant spots on both Dust2 and Cache. And up first is going to be planting for Cat. So you're going to want to plant on the interior side of this box facing Cat and just shoulder peek as you hear them start to tap defuse. You don't even have to be exposed. Super OP as long as they don't tap it and peek wide, because that can sometimes throw you off here. As you can see, I wouldn't have gotten the frag if that was a real matchmaking game. Up next is a plant spot everyone should be aware of. That is planting for long in the corner here. Make sure that you have an opper in pit or even an AK and you can handle most of these rounds. They can easily see who's defusing, but sometimes if it does get smoked, you can get some whiff shots in, and that's always frustrating as fuck. So make sure you're aware spatially of where the person would be inside the smoke. Also, stop planting so fucking deep past this barrel. I don't know why you say you plant for long and then you plant here. It does happen in silvers. I know it's crazy to think of, but as you can see, I can't even see the guy defusing, and he can fully get that defuse off without even having to smoke himself if I don't pull out a pit. Also, don't plant back this way because they can hide behind the barrel and shots can easily be whiffed, as you can see there. I see that happen in even MG games at times. So if you're saying you're planting for long, actually plant in the very deep corner. Planting on top of this box also grants you a pretty easy frag from pit, as they'll have to stand on top of the box to defuse or from the side. The one very negative aspect of this plant spot is that you are exposed as fuck from both cat, CT, and long as you're planting, and can easily get fragged as you're planting. So make sure you only do it if you guys fully have sight. Here's a super simple default plant spot. You're not open from anywhere as you're planting as long as someone's got your CT and cat push. Up next, we're going to be bringing it over to B site here. This one is a lot more dependent on where you plant your bomb to make the rounds much easier for you guys. Up first is the default plant. Once again, this is the safest place to plant once you have sight, but they can push you window if no one's watching it and get a frag pretty easily, which is always really fucking annoying. Here's another cheeky plant spot that does work sometimes because people forget it exists. If you plant here, it'll go under the flap, and it's pretty hard to see as they're taking sight if they're not really using their ears too well, which they don't in silver. I find this plant to be really good in 1v1 situations, as long as you can get the plant off and jump back to the back of sight. If you just hide and they don't check you, it's a super easy kill as they're trying to defuse because they do have to be facing away from you or on top of the box. This is the default plant position for tons. Your teammate can easily hide in tons as long as no one pushes them from lower. They can hear when the defuse is happening and get a really easy frag. And this next plant is really good if you guys have taken tons but haven't cleared out both door and window. You can be safe from cover, but as they defuse, it is really hard to see them from tons, so make sure you do not tell your teammates you planted it for them, because they will fucking scream at you when they lose the round. For some reason, the B-bomb site does not have a very large explosion radius, so if you have full armor, it'll only take about a little more than half of your health if you're standing back at car, so you will live if you do need to save quickly. Moving on now to Cache, probably my favorite map in the game, and really heavy on bomb positions to win rounds easily for the Ts. Right here is the default plant spot, which is really well hidden, but if the CTs know their nades, they can easily fuck you up with a molly or a quick nade and end your life before you can even get the plant off. And it's kind of hard to play as a T if you are not in quad. This here is the default A main plant spot. Anywhere along these lines, the further back the better, so that your teammate can just hide here and wait for the push. Make sure you have your crosshair ready and just tap their heads as soon as they start defusing. The one thing about this is they can tap it and peek wide and fuck your day up, like you can see here. So make sure if you're pre-aiming that you're aware of that. Here's another really cheeky plant spot in between these two curbs. As the enemies are taking sight, when they're trying to peek for enemies, they're not really focused on that area, and oftentimes they can miss the bomb, because as you can see, it's kind of in the recess between the curbs. Here, if you plant right next to these toxic barrels and go through to Squeaky on the line, you can line up with this doorway here on the frame and aim to the middle of the door, a little lower than waist height, and you should be able to wallbang them as they start tapping the defuse. Moving on now to Cache's B site, which is much more contained and less open than the A site on this map, and it is very crucial to get some nice plant spots in order to make your round much easier as a T. First off, if you can plant in the open and you have sight taken, hiding pretty much anywhere like A main or checkers, you can get a really easy frag as they're defusing. Another really great spot to be hiding and getting the time ran down before they can defuse. Now in the back by these barrels, this is a really safe plant if you don't fully have sight from tree or heaven. And you can just have someone sitting in main waiting for the defuse. They'll either have to have their backs turned to you or be looking straight down so they won't even see you. Planting safe here is really good, but make sure you have your post plant positioning on point. Getting the bomb down and then immediately peeking wide to the right or left of these toxic barrels can really fuck you up, because anyone in heaven will see you and quickly get the frag, as you can see here from the enemy POV. This final plant is not recommended if you don't have tree in heaven smoked off and fully watching vents, but if you can get it down, it's really hard for the CT to defuse without being seen from literally anywhere on the map. And finally, planting back in this corner can grant you a really easy frag from the back of checkers if someone just wants to wait for the tap of the defuse. So that wraps it up for this part of the Silver Survival Guide. I hope you guys learned something about 2 of the most popular maps in matchmaking. Once again, I am bringing this video sponsored by Boomio, so make sure you check out my affiliate link below. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it really helps me out, you guys. So not only is it benefiting me, but it's helping you guys improve in the game as well, and they're always adding new premium content every day.